everyone, welcome to the Eventual Knits podcast. My name is Leah and I am known as Miss_LJV on Instagram and Eventual on Ravelry. Today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2019. I always forget the date. And this is, I think, actually episode 12. I believe I had episode 11 last time. If you are a new viewer to my podcast, welcome. This actually, I think, is going to be a short podcast this week because it is 6:30 and I have a friend who's scheduled to come over at 7, so we'll see if I decide I want to cut an ad or just do 2 separate podcasts. So today I'm going to talk about what I'm working on. Yeah, I haven't finished anything since last week, so what I'm working on, Zombie Knitpocalypse and yarns I've acquired. If I have time, I assume I'm not going to get through all of them, but I will briefly talk about some. And projects that I'm looking forward to, possibly, and a little bit of life stuff. So let's get started. First things first, because just like the way that my camera is set up, you can't see it, but I am wearing this super cute shirt. It is a knitting sheep. Aww. Aww. So I was really excited about that, and then I realized that this specific setup, I'm too close to the camera, so you can't see the cute things that I'm wearing. Yeah, so let us jump right in. What I'm working on. Oh my god. Okay, so one, I'm looking guiltily over at my table that has my whether or not scarf on it. I still have not updated it since May. Yeah, I'm in May, so I have a lot of catching up to do, and I'm looking at it and I know I should do it, but I keep getting distracted by other cute, exciting projects. Oh no. So I'm not gonna show you that because I haven't updated it since a while. But you guys, finally I get to show you my Grow-teen that I have been working on by Carolyn Dick. So the last time that I showed this on my podcast, it was, did I take it out? Oh, maybe I took it out. Oh no, I didn't. So the last time I showed this on the podcast, it was here. So here, right? Here was where I was. And now here is where I am. So I'm finally making progress on it. I had been knitting it at work exclusively. It was my work project, it was kind of mindless, but not, super mindless. I have this much left. It still feels hefty. I was working on it just in little brief minutes at work, and then after school ended, then I started bringing it to my new job, and also just kind of in the car and to restaurants and stuff like that. But then I reached a point where I was I have to finish this. I love the way this looks. Linen stitch, it looks really, really cool, but it's really stretchy and it's squishy and it is really soft, but I'm gonna lose my mind if I have to keep knitting on this. I need to finish it, and it feels like I'm getting nowhere. I always have the same amount of yarn left. I'm going to die. The problem with linen stitch for me is that it is so boring. I really hate going forward and then back and then forward and then back and then forward and then back. Every single stitch slows me down, and I'm a pretty fast knitter, I think. I mean, I'm not on the super fast end of the spectrum, I don't think, but compared to the average knitter that I have observed, I am pretty fast. And so having to stop to move the yarn every stitch is torture. But it's not mindless enough that I can just forget about it, because when I forget about it, I start narrow. I start I start doing like ribbing or seed stitch. Like I start knitting and purling every other stitch. It's something you have to kind of actively think about, slipping stitches. Otherwise you just get into that like muscle memory and will knit or purl the stitch. There's the kitty who is meowing. You know, and so like you have to have just enough attention, and it's so frustrating. So I can't spend too much time talking about it because I gotta go fast. But yeah, so I am getting there. It is almost a shawl. I still can't believe though, like when Carolyn did her knit along, how so many people were like, I was so excited about this, I cast on too. And it's like, how? So that's one thing I'm working on. I'm so happy I can finally show it to you. I actually, nope, no time. But I will move my stitch marker now to show you next time where I left off, and hopefully the next time I show it to you, I will be finished. What? Do we get my lap? And that is residing in my Wuthering Sheep bag. Say hi, Nero. Hi. I don't know, he's being a needy boy. And then the next thing that I am working on is my my Initium shawl, also by Carolyn Dick. So I had a lot of trouble with this at first. So I feel like the pictures, okay, I'm a super visual person. And so if I don't really know, like, you know how, like, for sweaters, it'll be like, this is a top-down sweater in this style with this thing, and then you separate for the, you know, like there's like that little paragraph at the beginning that talks about how the pattern is constructed, so you can kind of visualize it. Because seeing pictures is one thing, and with shawls especially, you often don't get to see the whole thing at once, right? Like they're often a little bit too long. And so with this one, I could not for the life of me visualize really, like, where was I starting? And so I was really frustrated at first, just because like I didn't understand where I was supposed to be going, and I think I immediately just messed it up in terms of like which side was the right side and which side was the wrong side, because I cast it on at the June Knitters Guild meeting, and the guest speaker for that day was a person who is like trying to suggest like different yoga things, different like massage things, whatever that you could do to like help alleviate repetitive stress and knitting stuff, and just talking about yoga philosophy and whatever. So I was setting it down and picking it up, and so like I thought I was doing just fine, but I'm pretty sure I got off right away with the color changes. So I ended up really struggling, because every single time I finished one of these sections, which requires wrap and turns, I would end up on the wrong side. Like I would need to change colors on the wrong side, and that would make a garter bump, and I did not want that. So so I've just been sort of fudging it the whole time. Like I talked with Carolyn, and she, you know, was like, I feel like the pattern works out fine, I'm not sure what you're doing wrong. I mean, she said it really nicely and just said, just if you're messing it up, just knit an extra row, which is what I was doing, but it's still annoying to have to deal with, because now I have all these extra ends. So anyway, this is the Initium shawl. I'm now finished with all of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color changes, and now I'm gonna knit the center, and then there's a really cool little ending that you do that uses all 5 colors again, but in I assume like 1 garter ridge bump, or maybe 2 each. These are TMNT colors, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles colors. Now, if I would have known how, oh my god, hi! If I would have known how it was going to turn out, I would have done it reverse. I would have done the green first, then the orange, then the blue, then the purple, then the red, because I am a Raphael. I like to think of myself as a Donatello or a Leonardo, but I am a Raphael, etc. And then the green, I think, is just like turtle colors. This yarn is Black Cat custom yarn, not to be confused with Black Cat fibers. Black Cat custom yarn. It's really, really soft and squishy, and the colors are very vibrant. They're very true to what I know the turtles are, and I am so excited to have this finished and to wear it. Oh my god, I cannot wait to have myself a TMNT. Nero, you're getting your fur all over my scarf. Shawl. Yeah, so it's a fingering weight yarn. It is, oh, he does not want to get off. I will add in, oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It's a merino. I mean, it's a wool blend. Black Cat custom yarn. I really wish I could see it from here. Yeah, so I will finish with that soon. I'm very excited. It's going to be a super fun thing to wear to things, like I am a person who just loves like yarn with meaning and meaning to me, and I watched TMNT, the cartoon growing up, and I really loved especially the first 2 live action movies. Secret of the Ooze was like my jam. Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. Yeah, that was just like a series that I really connected with. Played, their games on the Genesis, played some of the really hard games on the NES that I never beat the 2nd level of, that kind of thing. So that is a hype project. And lastly, I started, and that is living in my, believe this is a hedgehog, no, yeah, hedgehog fibers. Where's my tag for this? I believe this is a hedgehog fibers. That is so strange. Why doesn't it have the tag? Oh, clever hound, hedgehog fibers. What am I thinking? Clever Hound Creations. Oh, it's right here. You probably were seeing it the whole time. Clever Hound Creations. My kitty bag with that. Anyway, last and another Clever Hound Creations bag that I'm working on is I started my Cobain top by Risenitz. This is a lavender. I feel like I showed this on a different episode. I'll get the yarn information. I am a mess today. So yeah, I started it. I've gotten part of the collar done, and I'm gonna start with increases. And there's not really a lot to say about that. It's I kind of talked about it on my last episode, but the yarn back here, that is going to be the contrasting color. It is House of a la Mode in Acorn. It is a 100% superwash merino. So that is the stripy contrasting color that I'm going to be doing for the Cobain top. And then, the purple is Swan's Island washable wool. It is also 100% certified organic merino wool with Eco Wash. So yeah, it's going to be a tank top. It's supposed to be like a long tank top. I'm really just kind of knit it until I've used all the yarn. So I don't know if that means it'll be as long as the pattern, longer or shorter, because I don't have a super lot of experience with knitted garments. So we'll see how it ends up working out for me. And also, like, I'm a super curvy person, so you just never know how things are gonna pull and fit. With my boy lollipops, because I have like so much here and your back is flat, like my back, it's always longer in the back than in the front by a large margin. Okay, that's it for all I'm working on. other than mitts from my other than mitts for one of my cousins that I showed you last time. I have not made any progress on that since last time. Let's see. So the big thing that I want to talk about with the Knitting Wise community is that on Saturday I went to Zombie Knitpocalypse in Rochester, Minnesota, because I'm local. I live in the Twin Cities. It's about an hour and a half drive from here to Rochester, and I think I discovered it last year, and I discovered it like way too late. It was too close to the event, etc., and I didn't go. And then this year again, I was reminded of it by someone who's not me in remembering. I was reminded by Bunnyfish, also known as Heather, or Heather, also known as Bunnyfish. She started watching my podcast and had commented, and I think had mentioned it in one of her podcasts. And I was like, oh, damn it. Like, I was gonna do that, but I don't even know what it is. I know it's a retreat kind of, etc. But the market is open on Saturday. I know it's super popular, so like I discovered it like in May, and so there's no way I was gonna get to going. And she's like, whatever, just come to the market, and, you know, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll do that. And so Steve and I got up on Saturday. We left in late morning. We meant to leave a lot earlier than we did, but we left in late morning. We got there, we did like a quick lap. I was like, okay, I swear this morning I saw some posts from like people who I admire and follow saying that they were like flying in and whatever, so like maybe we'll run into them, maybe not, whatever. So we did a couple laps. One of the organizers for the event was like probably I looked like a deer in headlights, because I always do that when I first like attend anything. Like I'm just like really anxious, so like I like start collapsing on myself, and like I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what to do and whatever. So I don't know if she noticed that or if she's just really friendly, but she was like, hey, why don't you go outside and check out the Buffalo Yarns truck. Like they drove it from Buffalo, New York, and it's super neat. It's like a van that has tons of yarns in it, and some of it is stuff that she does herself, and then there's some that she sells, and it's a really cool experience. And so I was so glad I went out there, because Heather was out there, and that made me feel like so much better, like running into her, like not wondering like, oh my god, am I not gonna recognize her, is she not gonna recognize me? But we both recognized each other right away. We're both like unique enough looking that like it's like, oh, I've seen you, you know, like we see each other. And so that was really nice. And then she like gave us the whole rundown on the van and the rundown on like what I should do for the event, and like encouraging me to go like find a group of people and start talking to people, and then everyone's really welcoming. And so I ended up getting a ton of stuff from there. I got, first and foremost, I got this yarn. It's called Kitten Poker. It is called 716 sock, and it's 80% merino, 20% nylon. It's about 400 yards, and that is in the 716 knit colorway. So Buffalo, New York. And this was the yarn dyed specifically, I believe, for Zombie Knitpocalypse, ZKP. And so obviously I had to get that. I love getting like event and thing yarn. So it's a cool bright yellow, and it has stripes of, or sections that are varying degrees of brightness in blues and greens and browns, and I guess yellows technically. But yeah, it's super interesting, and it's very tonal. Then I also had to get a skein of the 716 sock in Winning Friends Through Telepathy. What a fun name. Very speckly, like, it's not teal, it's more of a seafoam green, but it's a very gentle, light seafoam green with speckles of millions of colors. And finally, I believe also in the 716 sock, no, this was 716 gi, It is 90% superwash Targhee and 10% nylon in Care Bear with fangs. So I believe this is like thick stripe black with, is it micro stripes or something? Yeah, there was a version I saw with white or cream, and I think this is the darker, more neon version, and I cannot wait to knit with it. It is going to be so fun. And lastly from there, got this for like a really fun, bright, like it's 600 yards. Yeah, it's 716 core, 75% superwash Corriedale, 25% nylon. Definitely like a shawl, you know, just something, just a contiguous shawl, something really interesting and fun. I don't know how it's gonna stripe up, and I don't really care because look, how can you not just be happy with anything you make with something this gorgeous? That's all for yarn from that place. And then I also got, wow, my card is in here. I would not, wow. Oh, I think it's in my other bag. I bought, sorry about all the crinkling. Somewhere in here, I believe, I bought some stitch markers from her. If I find them, I'll show them on the next episode because I don't have time. But for every $50 you spend, you get to get a mini skein. So I got this adorable rainbow mini skein. That was sweet as hell. Look at that. And then Steve, so I bought some of it, and then Steve bought the rest. We kind of gamed the system a little bit, and Steve got this cute little orange mini skein. So Heather introduced us to a couple of her friends, and one of them asked Steve if he would knit his mini skein, and he said yes. So I'm gonna try maybe to hold him to that, have him knit a little square out of it or whatever, make a little coaster, because it's so charming, and he knows how to do the basic knit stitch. So make him do more than just a couple rows. Already got like 6 minutes. Oh my god, there's so many things to say about ZKP. So I'm not gonna show, I guess, the rest of the yarn that I got. I'll do that in a different episode or as I knit it. I did kind of splurge a little because it was like, at first I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here who were also at Yarn Over, like, is it kind of really similar? And it's like, there were actually a lot of things there that weren't the same as Yarn Over, and I was really excited to buy from them, particularly the 716 knit stuff. And so I ended up getting a few things. Oh, and also I guess maybe different than normal is that Steve wanted, like, he saw a sample scarf from a vendor from Show Me Yarn, and he was like, oh my god, I want that exact scarf. Like, I want you to make me that exact scarf. It's fall colors. I want you to wear it. I want to wear it in the fall. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna show you since I'm talking about it. So this is the Fall in Love with the Ozarks Gradient Set, boot heel base, 80/20 superwash merino and nylon, 133 yards of each color, and these are the colors. And then the contrast color is the best name ever! Maple Brown Sugar, boot heel base, Maple Brown Sugar. It's like some colorway names just like blow my mind. This one's like so perfect, and I want to just buy this yarn in it a million times because I love the color name and it matches so perfectly. And this goes on, they're striped along with the gradient, and it's a closed loop scarf, so I imagine it's knit in the round and then seamed at the end, and yeah, it's really cool looking. So I'm gonna definitely do that for him for fall. 5 minutes. So I guess I'm just gonna end talking about ZKP, and I'll push all the other stuff for next time. Maybe I'll do another shorter episode later, or maybe I'll do another shorter episode later and splice them together. ZKP was so good. Like, I could talk so much. So Steve and I was nervous. I wanted to sit with a group, but then they kind of had left by the time I got back inside after Heather had like encouraged me to go like meet people and talk with them. And so we just kind of sat down by ourselves, and then soon I was joined by who turned out to be Corey Eichelberger. Is that her name? Oh my god, is that how you say her last name? Corey. She's the one who did she's one of the 2 women in the Minnesota 52. Where is it? Here. She's one. Oh, name's on here. Yeah, Corey Eichelberger. Yep. So this is Corey. And I went to one of her talks, or when she was doing the book tour for this book. And she even signed it at the time. But yeah, she ended up sitting next to me, and it was one of those things where, like, she appeared to recognize me and I appeared to recognize her, but we couldn't remember where we saw each other. So we just kind of went back and forth, like, periodically as other people started to join us. And eventually we were like, she was like, oh my god, I know you. I did the Minnesota 52, you know. And then I was like, oh yeah, I was at Knitting from the Heart, you know. And so that was really cool in and of itself. But then she was like, oh, my friend Amber's coming, and just know that she's gonna, you know, and it's like, she's basically said that Amber is just gonna talk a lot. Okay, her friend Amber is Yarn Hoarder. Yarn Hoarder Amber. You've probably heard of her. And so she came and sat down, and she did exactly that. She just immediately started talking and told these hilarious stories, and I really enjoyed every second of it. I was just laughing my ass off. Like, it was a good time. I'm really sweary this episode. I hope everyone's cool with that. And like that was, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm in the presence of a celebrity. And then you guys, the person that I was so secretly deep in my heart hoping to run into at ZKP based upon a comment saying that seemed to imply that she was going to be there, it was Telly B Knits. Yeah, Stephanie Latvin was there, and she like came and sat down and joined our group, and I just like did like a, and I was like, Albu and Steve, like Steve, pulling up pictures like Steve, you know. And then I was like, oh my god, you're Stephanie Lavin, I'm Leah. We talked a couple times because I've done several of your knit-alongs, and I've won prizes from you, and I did your cowl, your shortcut cowl, and you like really enjoyed my colors. And she's like, oh my god, yeah, totally, blah, blah. And so we ended up like hanging out for most of the time. Like, we had a lot of really good conversations, and it was really fun watching her with her, she was working on a sample knit, and we were talking about test knitting stuff, and the knit-along that she's going to do for the mittens. Again, she does a knit-along every year for, mystery knit-along every year for mittens in the fall, and I cannot wait until she does that again. And then eventually they ended up kind of like adopting me in their group, and had me like come and crash the evening activities with them. And it was so fun, and I got to meet so many people, and I was talking with Suburban Stitcher, and I talked to her at her booth because we were talking about Knitty Natty's shawl that she was wearing, and it's great, and I have the pattern, and I want to crochet it, but I need a little bit of time. And I was sitting next to who turned out to be Paper Daisy Creations, Lisa Ross, and I didn't know I was talking to her for the longest time, because she had introduced herself to me as Stephanie's friend. What is my life? Yeah, it was just a really, really great time. And at the end, you guys, like, I like started crying. Like, at the end of that event, at the end of that evening, they ended up giving me the ZKP mug, which, okay, I don't think you guys know, but I love mugs. I live for mugs. I live for these kind of mugs. Oh my god. And they gave me a bag. They all went out. They just like totally above and beyond anything I could have expected. And like, I was just like, wow, I've never felt so welcomed anywhere ever in my life. And it was so amazing and so great. And like exchanging information and adding on Ravelry and adding on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, like, it was just so cool, and I'm so happy to be a part of this, and I love the knitting community, and the fiber community, and I love taking risks and trying new things, and like, I don't know, I'm kind of a loner most of the time, like by choice. Like I just kind of like to be alone and quiet and not really talking to people, and so it's so weird to like want to be a part of a community and like making attempts to do so. And so it was just a really good time, and I'm so happy that I went, and I have it in my damn calendar to actually get in for next year and actually go to the retreat, because I've always wanted to go to a retreat and I just never have. And I would love to see these ladies again next year and like actually participate in the activities, and like, I don't know, like it's so cool. And like, you know, this is really all because of Heather, and I'm so happy that I met her, and her friends and the people that she knows. And I'm not mentioning a lot of people, obviously, because they're just names to you guys, but yeah, it was a really good experience, and I'm so happy that I went, and I got so many good things and so many good memories. And I think I'm just gonna end this one on that note and come back again next time, or maybe I'll end it on this note and then you'll see me and it will seem like it's a few minutes later, but it's a little while later. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.